of the digital trade space where we find ourselves. And as a country, we are saying, even if we have corridors that are developed for transporting goods, when we are keeping these goods in those warehouses, there should be some indication of how much space do you have or you can reserve for the goods, whether those that are earmarked for Namibia or those that are earmarked for our neighboring countries, because our ports serve our various neighboring countries, especially those that are landlocked. And we are saying now, going forward, we must make sure that the African mechanisms that we have in place, of course, we have the AU strategy on digitalization or digital transformation, together with the one that I have referred to earlier on. We must make sure that we domesticate this so that we are able to reach out to our fellow African countries and tie the knots so that at the end of the day, we move from the statistics of 15% that I have heard yesterday that we are trading amongst ourselves. Digital space is there. Let's make use of that mechanism to ensure that we magnify the trade activities between and amongst the African countries. I believe it can be done, and the time is now and not tomorrow.
Very impressive thoughts. The time is now, absolutely. I'll go to my friend Tobias Alando. Tobias, when it comes to digital transformation, we are talking really much more about employment opportunities here within the manufacturing sector that yes. You are a champion about. With the raising adoption of technology, and you know, Kenya actually in this continent has done extremely well from that perspective. What are your views in how do you shift the significant drivers of job creation, you know, in case? And then with Kenya, you've seen that in the last at least couple of decades, you know, there's so much that has transformed. You know, would love to see how you personally analyze those winners and losers.
Okay.
Because those companies that don't adopt technology have shelf life. Like in the supermarket, you have said best before. I'm sure we can give every company a best before if they don't adopt technology. So I'd love to hear from your perspective, you know, how digitization has helped real job creation.
So I'll start by giving a brief statistics. And this is statistics of Africa. A quarter of the population are between 15 and 35 years. They are younger generation. And in 2025, that number is going to double. This young generation are digital savvy. They are our future markets. They are our future buyers. So if we do not transform in the space of digitization, then we will not meet the needs of the future market. And that's why, as a manufacturing association and manufacturing companies in Kenya, we are also not left behind. Most of the production processes, from raw material alignment, processing, packing, and exporting or sending to the market, are digitized, in the sense that everything that you produce is based on the need at the end in terms of the market. Through IoT, through data analytics, we're able to analyze different market needs. So you produce based on different market needs. So where we are going, even as producers, we need to digitize our process because through that we'll do faster production, but at the same time we'll meet the need of this younger generation or younger population that I'm talking about. Yes.
I think that's extremely powerful. I'm going to go to Stephen, you know. With a lot of experience you've had from a perspective of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce. What I would really like to know from you is to talk about digital transformation fostering economic growth. Now, statistically, if you look at the world for the last 10 years, you know, which is just a decade, 7% of the world's GDP has grown just because countries have moved to adopting more digital for trade perspective. From your perspective, when we now look at, particularly areas benefiting women and youth-led entrepreneurship, what specific policies, programs, and support mechanism can be implemented to help these groups to harness their optimal potential, really, from your perspective?
Thank you. Maybe I'll refer to you as Abeku.
Absolutely.
Since you decided to be a Ghanaian. But thank you for the question. As the leader of the business community, and especially looking at the pyramid, with a lot of them at the bottom of the pyramid, as a chamber and what we have done to ensure that digitization has permeated through women and youth, is that you've done a lot of education to let the women especially understand that the world is moving forward and is becoming digital. The Vice President of Ghana kindly has been championing digitization and digital processes in a lot of stuff. So as a chamber, that's what we have done. And more particularly also towards the youth. Under the leadership that I just assumed about 30 days ago, we've tried to go to about 5 colleges and universities. And what is the reason? The reason is that we are trying to set up youth chambers in the colleges and universities. In Ghana, what typically happens is that the political parties have clubs in the universities. What is the purpose? The purpose is to prepare these young guys, young boys and girls, to come into politics after school. So I have asked myself that, okay, if that's what they are doing, then what would us as business people do? For that reason, we have intentionally gone to these colleges and universities to set up junior chambers. You would bear witness with me that in Ghana there's a term called BBC. So for somebody like me, they will say I'm a BBC. What is BBC? That's born before computers. The things that my 10-year-old child can do on a phone, on a cellular phone, or on a PC, are things that would amaze me. So it means that these young guys, the youth, have a lot of potential, considering the fact that now technology is the way to go. So how do we prepare them? The women that are now selling in the market, how are we preparing them so that they don't really have to say that I'm going to go look for a stall in the market area, or go to rent a shop when they can afford. So we are educating them to start having shops online, because now you can sell from the south of Ghana to the north of Ghana without having a shop. And that means that you are going to have customers all across Ghana and not specifically in your area or jurisdiction of trade. So those are the areas that, as a chamber, we have tried to do to ensure that we come following what is happening in the digital world these days. Thank you very much.
Really smart, to create chambers of commerce in universities. I think that's where business starts. And if you just add the youth aspect that you mentioned, clearly it is transformative. But let me move to Madam Sain Zoga. Now I don't want to make a mistake again. Otherwise I'll not leave Rwanda. But you lead a very important institution for Rwanda, which is really about development. And Rwanda has demonstrated pretty significant success, like Kenya, when it comes to digital transformation. Now, based on your experience, what has been the most effective strategies that Rwanda has really succeeded when it comes to adopting digital transformation? I would also like to talk about, in terms of, Florence talked about infrastructure, skills, all these are very critical. From your perspective, and we talked about a very young population, what are the most broader policies or actions that we can take to transform not only Rwanda, but sub-Saharan Africa?
Thank you very much. Don't worry, Rwanda is free entry, free exit, so you'll still be able to go. I just want to pick up from the research that was presented from ITC, because I think that's really the ethos of everything we've been doing in Rwanda, which is starting with the national strategy and the national vision. The vision is very clear. We want to become a knowledge-based economy, and we want to make sure that we focus on value addition and innovation. So from there, then the ecosystem gets created to make sure that this is a vision that can be implemented. Now, unlike, I would say very much like many African countries, I would say many of the challenges are similar. The first one is infrastructure. You cannot expect to have, digital trade if you don't have easy, affordable access to internet. So that was our first starting point, making sure that the entire country is laid out with 3G. Back then, it was the latest technology. Now we're at 5G. But a big focus on infrastructure. And for us, infrastructure was an area where PPP was key, where government had a role, but also partnering with the private sector. The second one was really one that we still struggle with, and we take for granted in many of our markets, which is access to devices. We can lay out the fiber, we can make sure we have 5G. If our population doesn't have access to smartphones, it will be very hard to have a credible market for these digital trade and trading companies to be able to invest in digital solutions. In Rwanda, we have a very high penetration rate of phones, cell phones, but unfortunately, the majority of them are feature phones. So the Ministry of ICT and Innovation at the moment are driving a very aggressive campaign to make sure that these feature phones become smartphones. Now, the third area is around digital literacy. And there are two ways to look at digital literacy. Either you train people to know how to use digital tools, or you make it a requirement in their daily life to use digital solutions. So the road that Rwanda has chosen is to make sure that in the daily life of our farmers, of our young people in urban areas, in rural areas, you must be able to own and use a phone to carry on your daily work. So for example, we have a company called Irembo, which provides more than 100 digital services for government online. So in Rwanda, if you need a birth certificate, you don't go to any office, you apply online. If you want your marriage certificate, if you want a death certificate, if you want a driving license, if you want whatever you want in your daily life, these are the services that were prioritized to be available fully digitally. And that creates then a need for digital literacy. The same, if you want to go on a bus, you will not pay cash, you will pay with a digital card. So the second one is really to try to create a need for digital literacy that then very pragmatically drive the need to know more about use of digital tools. The third one, which we copied from our neighbors, we copied with pride, is being able to lead digital payments, because I think it's impossible to lead digital trade without having modern, convenient digital payments. And courtesy of M-Pesa, we realized that this is an area where actually Africa can leapfrog. The amount of things that I can do with my phone today far exceeds the options that my colleague in Belgium has with his own phone, because the mobile payment systems, courtesy of COVID as well, as mentioned by Honorable Minister, has shown us that we can actually use mobile payments for so many other things. Now, for us, mobile payments are a way of facilitating trade, but it's also been a tool for financial inclusion. Thanks to mobile payment, we've been able to leapfrog. Today in Rwanda, 96% of adults are actually financially included. If you break it down and you wonder what allowed us to have a gain of more than 25% inclusion in 3 years, the answer is very clear. It's access to mobile payments and digital services through mobile payments. So I would say these were the building blocks that we looked at, and now we're looking at what are the solutions that we can have for digital trade that are directly linked to, I would say, the real economy. So for us, this is tourism, this is agriculture, and this is manufacturing. And how do we create these linkages so that access to digital innovation is not just a buzzword, but actually leads to productivity for the smallholder farmers? Can they get their loan, with a phone? Can they, how many services can they actually access digitally so that we're able to create a bridge between the real economy, which is driving the digital trade, and the digital innovation? So I'll pause there and just say that the institution that I lead is very proud because we've been put At the center of these programs, we're implementing various development partners and ministries program. And the target we've given ourselves is at least 30% of our portfolio by 2028 must be infused by science, technology, and innovation in one way or another. And we have to proactively create this infusion in all the loans that we extend. So we are using actually access to finance as a way as incentivize the small businesses to actually transition towards digital economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I see clearly a country that's leading the way. It says time up, so I need to just finalize. You know, as you're all talking, I was thinking that maybe we should do some divide and rule. That Rwanda should talk about how do you create an Africa strategy which is knowledge-based. You know, we give Kenya the work to say, we've got the youngest population that this world has. You know, it's the only population that can be taught, that can learn, unlearn, relearn. You know, many parts of the world, the population is so old that they can't change, but here we can actually change. You know, maybe we should ask Ghana to say, can you create a model where every university has a chamber of commerce, you know? And then maybe we can ask Honorable to really help us to connect all the policies. You know, if we could work that way, you know, we would become much more powerful because unity is strength. And I remember that, you know, in one of the East Africa community conversation I had, and today we've also talked about Africa Union, you know, Africa 2063 plans. I think the first thing we should also encourage is to drive digital trade or just to drive African prosperity. Anybody who is working in a regional bloc, you know, their job descriptions need to change to represent the bloc, not the country. So that, you know, we stop that mindset to stop, you know, if I'm from Kenya, then I stop only think about Kenya, but rather say, my role is Africa or my role is East Africa. So we've got to change that. But big things I picked today really is from Honorable Minister is really that, imagine if we thought everything from a perspective of, let's think about pandemic and technology and how fast we can change the dimensions. Because pandemic forced us to do things. How can we force ourselves? The big takeaway from yourself was really that we've got the youngest population. Honestly, it's a waste if we don't optimize on it. I really like this. Education is the key to everything. It's a foundation, you know, is very, very crucial. But without strategy and leadership, you know, you can't attract capital, you can't change your skills, and you really cannot digitize. What I really liked about, you know, a friend from Rwanda is, you know, she said that Rwanda is so intentional that they've moved from everything in a bucket which is a need bucket to a want bucket. You know, if you leave everything in a bucket of I need this, then it will not be adopted. She said even the phones is a must to have, so it is moved to a must to have bucket. So I'm really privileged to have, you know, moderated this session. You know, I hope we've taken some good lessons for everybody to take forward. Maybe just parting shots, and I'm going to start with you, Florent. What are your final parting shots?
Well, I would say to foster digital transformation, to really focus on the dual approach, government, but also empower the private sector, companies. Thank you.
Thank you. Madame Fo?
So what I would say is that I think it is only us Africans who can make our lives better. Nobody can come from outside and make it better. And I like what especially Rwanda is doing. And so I think that we as various countries in Africa and also looking at ensuring that we bridge the gap amongst ourselves so that a country like Nigeria cannot just block its barrier and say that other countries cannot enter. So yes, let's make it work for us all in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable, your final shots?
What I can say is that let the private sector hold hand with the public sector for us to develop digital infrastructures and to make sure that each and every citizen have access to network, access to digital space, that we can operate better going forward.
Thank you. Madame?
Mine would be around intentionality. We're not going to leapfrog organically. So there's a need for intentionality from the public sector, from the private sector, from regulatory regimes, and we can do it. Africa has a young population, but it's not going to happen on its own.
Good, Rav Kiango.
So my final comment is that the world is flat. Anything done in Europe, in China, can be done in Africa, and it's our time to do it through digitization.
Thank you. And my final word is the theme of this discussion, which is a bite to market. Everybody here, everybody in this room, everybody on the panel has a solid amount of empowerment that we all hold to take a bigger bite of the market. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having this panel with me.
We thank you, Mr. Sanjay Rugani, and your panelists about a group photo. And so shortly, we shall receive all our other brothers and sisters who are in the other session. They'll be joining us for the closing ceremony, to be preceded by an open mic session, which would last for 10 minutes. My only problem with the uptake in digitalization and digital skills is those people who were born before computers. I just wonder how they will cope, you know? A lot seem apathetic to the whole thing, but well, I just hope that they will renew their minds. It reminds me of an experience I had while living in the Gambia. I lived there for 2.5 years. Anybody who's lived in the Gambia or knows the Gambia very well, you know that they are 95% Muslim, but 5% Christian and other denominations. But the greatest contributor to their GDP then was the brewery. So I know what you're thinking. Who's been drinking the beer? I'm not answering that. Mr. David Villa is the one responsible for that. But you see, my father was a missionary there, and so on Saturdays, we'll go around evangelizing to the non-believers, quote unquote. And the Gambians are very hospitable people. They'll listen to you, let you make all your intelligent arguments and everything. Then, in a sharp rebuttal, he will look at you and say, Mr. Jerry, you say Jesus is God's son, Isa, God's son, no problem. You say he's coming back again, he'll take me to heaven if I follow him. Or what must I do? And I say, oh, you don't have to do anything, just pray, accept, and then that's all. But you say Jesus is God's son. God, he has son. Where is his wife? But I will not argue. Let's pray. So I lead him to Christ. He accepts Christ. And he said, Mr. Jerry, I've accepted your Jesus. If he come, I don't lose. If you don't come, I don't lose. 2 weeks later, I'm in the same vicinity. And because he has, a very funny motive to just tease me, he sees me again. Hey, Mr. Jerry, pastor's son, come. You say Jesus is coming back again? I said, yes. He said, last time I accepted. It has expired. I want to accept again. If you come, I don't lose. If you don't come, I don't lose. And I believe that's the mindset of a lot of people when it comes to this whole thing about digitalization. But truly, we are at a loss if we don't utilize the power of technology. Are we all alive for the closing ceremony? Oh, come on. Are you sure? I can feel the energy. There's something we do in Ghana to keep everybody. Do you know the name or the day you were born, actually? Please, how many of us know the day on which we were born? If you're born on Monday, let me see your hand up. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're born on a Monday, if you're a guy, you are called Kojo. So all the guys born on Monday, you are Kojo. Please show by hand. Kojo. All right, Kojo. And so if you're a woman, you are called Ajwa. All the women born on Monday, Ajwa. Okay. Tuesday, if you're a guy, you are called Kwabna. Tuesday borns, male. Okay. And if you're a lady and you're born on Tuesday, you are called Abna. Any Abnas in the house? Okay. Wednesday, you are Kweku, just like me. So Kweku, you are the cunning one. Abeku, same. And if you're a woman, you are called Ikuya. Any women? Thursday, you are called Yao. Any Yaos here, male? Okay. And then any Ya, female, on Thursday. On Friday, you are called Kofi if you're a man. Any Kofis here? So Kofi Annan, good. And if you're a woman, you are Efia. Lovely. Saturday borns male, you are Kwame Nkrumah. Yes, lovely. And if you're a woman, you are, anybody has an idea? No. A woman born on Saturday is called? No, it's not. Which country is that? Oh. Lovely. But unfortunately, if you're a woman and you are born on Saturday, fine, we have Kwame, but you are also... Oh, come on. No. No Ghanaian here born on Saturday. I am shocked. That's your assignment to find out. But on Sunday, if you're a guy, you're called Kwesi. And if you're a woman, you are called AC. Simple as that. So there's something small we do to ensure that we all know. Yes, that's why I'm shocked that they don't know. AMA is for Saturday women. So there's something we're going to do. Something's very simple. It's called tra la 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 la. Let's sing it together. Tra la 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 la. Again. Tra la 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 la. Everyone born on Monday, get up, let's dance. Everyone born Monday bones, get up, let's dance, let's go. Tra la 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 la. Tuesday, everyone born on Tuesday, get up, let's dance. Tuesday bones, everyone born on Tuesday, get up. Let's dance, let's sing. Tra la 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 la. Wednesday, everyone born on Wednesday, get up. Let's dance. Wednesday is here, we're in the lead. Everyone born on Wednesday, get up. Let's dance, let's go. Tra la 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 la. Thursday borns, everyone born on Thursday. Oh, let's dance. Everyone born on Thursday, get up. Let's dance. Tra la 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 la. Friday borns, everyone born on Friday. Hey, oh, everyone born on Friday. Get up, let's dance, let's go. Tra la 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 la. Everyone born on Saturday. Ah, hey, everyone born on Saturday. Get up, let's dance. Tra la 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 la. Finally Sunday, everyone born on Sunday, get up, let's dance. Everyone born on Sunday, get up, let's dance. Tra la 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 la. Everyone born of a woman, get up, let's dance. Everyone born of a woman, get up. Let's dance, let's go. Tra la 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 la. Now we have a problem. Clearly there were some people who were never born. A round of applause for them all together. For the next 10 minutes, we want to enjoy an open mic session from a guy who has seen the future and can tell us how it looks like. Reimagine the Future will be done for us by the CEO of AC Group Rwanda and Forbes Afrique Top 30 2018. Make welcome Patrick Buchana.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick Nsenga Buchana, the CEO of AC Group. And if I didn't get it wrong, I'm Kwame as well. So AC Group is a technology business that has digitized payments for public transport. We have a tap-and-go card, thanks to the CEO. Our advertising was done before we got on the podium. So it's a tap-and-go card used by 2 million Rwandans and operating in Rwanda. We started in Cameroon in 2018 and just got our license for Nairobi. But we're still struggling through a lot of the hurdles that we'll be talking about, some of them today. And my talk today is just about the power of technology in enhancing trade across the continent. Africa is a continent of 1.4 billion people, 3 trillion market size, with over 1 billion phones in the hands of people, half of them, 500 million, are smartphones. So you can imagine, we've come from a time where technology, a phone was shared between 3, 4, 5 people in a community, especially in the rural areas, to a gadget that's now personalized, SIM card to one person, moving from just making calls and transferring money to doing a lot more transactions, trading, gaming and learning. And you can imagine what more can be done with this gadget in a continent that has so many challenges, and I will not go into the trade challenges because I can imagine after all the panel sessions that I've gone through, there definitely has been a lot of emphasis around these challenges. But what I'll be talking about today is what can technology do to enhance and kind of leapfrog some of the challenges that we have as a continent, especially given the data that we have around the gadgets and internet penetration and the growth of digitization across the continent. And the first thing is the digital marketplaces. I mean, places like the USA, America as a whole, has Amazon delivering packages to the most remote parts of the country, which is almost the size of a continent. But in Africa, not even one country has one e-commerce platform that can deliver goods to the remote parts of that country. Countries as small as Rwanda, Burundi still do not have that digital markets that have that scale. But not just e-markets, but e-markets that also embed AI and pull data and connect a rural person in a village in Rwanda to someone in Central African Republic outside the capital. And also give the farmers data around where there is need for their products and where people are willing to pay even much higher. This information already exists on the internet. You'll be very surprised. My talk today has been written by ChatGPT. That's the power of information. All this information is online, and you just need one platform to gather it together, make sense of it, and avail this information to you. And blockchain. I think African Trademark East Africa is already championing that, so I won't go much into the power of blockchain in transparency and ensuring credibility in a very, very fast way. One of them is actually one of the showcases outside there, so I won't go much into it. And then we also have significant infrastructure deficiencies. And because of these deficiencies that we have right now, we don't necessarily have to build roads that connect the continent in a way that Europe has done it. We can just look at the way that trade is moving, and through AI platforms, you can be able to map out the most efficient routes, and you just focus on building infrastructure in those areas as opposed to having infrastructure everywhere. This can significantly bring the cost down and get us to move goods and services much more efficiently. AI and data analytics is also something that we need to take significant use of in payments, in trade, in information sharing, and a lot more. Payments. We have successful platforms like M-Pesa that are in Nairobi, mobile money here and across various markets on the continent. But still, payments are within the country. Yes, you can transfer money from one person to another across different markets right now, but it's not easy for me to make a payment to a distant market like Nigeria when I'm paying for something. I still have to use payments that are from Western markets, and if not, I have to use the traditional banking methods that exist at the moment. Many of these are not accessed by significant parts of the population across the continent. And yet, these individuals and these SMEs also want to trade with different people across the continent. And using blockchain-based currencies, today with USDT, I can transfer money from where I'm seated on my phone to someone in California, someone in Dubai, and they'll almost get it instantly. Convert it into their local currency almost instantly, and within no time have money in their pockets. These are tools that we also need to make significant use of. AI-driven credit scoring. Majority of the businesses on the continent today do not have collateral to be able to get access to the typical and traditional financing schemes that exist at the moment. But they have a lot of business going on. They have so many transactions that are happening on mobile money. So when they walk to a bank, the bank is asking, what is your collateral? Show me your account. And yet, this person is transacting a lot more. Now, with these AI credit scoring mechanisms, you can use the data on mobile money and many others, put them together, and this person can have access to a very quick loan, very fast, and scale up and grow his business, or even make sure it doesn't close. But for all this to happen, we also need to enhance our skills and capacity. So we need to make use of e-learning tools. We need to make use of trends in the market and trying to understand, as Rwanda, where are some of the, where we're having growth, different platforms, and make sure that the learning institutions are also updated in terms of curriculum and a lot more to ensure that the growth of trade and the trends in the markets are also matched by the skills that are coming from the various universities. And to conclude, all these challenges cannot definitely all be fixed by technology. But technology can definitely help Africa, starting with our different markets, leap to the next level and compete with the globe when it comes to trading, growth, and enabling small businesses and Africans themselves to be able to compete favorably, have our products scale up across the continent, and also have growth of African platforms, technology platforms, and businesses from one market to another until they become unicorns like the many that we've seen and we're always celebrating online. My name is Patrick again. Thank you so much for your attention. Have a good afternoon.
Patrick, would you be kind to stay with us as I invite a few... Patrick? If anyone wants to test this hypothesis, please. A few remarks from the floor. The opportunity exists for 2 engagements: question, suggestion, comment, even a prophecy. Your job is done. Please, a round of applause for Patrick Buchanan. Thank you very much. And so shortly we shall receive the full complement of the House, and then we shall zoom straight into the closing ceremony. It promises to last no more than an hour and a half. So many themes have come up, and for the next few minutes, while we wait to populate this whole room, I just want to go around with a mic and ask of you, what is it that you've not heard that you wish could be covered in the closing ceremony? But let me just gauge the temperature of the room and ask your thoughts on the following objectives that we set out to achieve. It was our hope from yesterday to showcase Africa's digital trade experience, lessons and share success stories from a people, politics, and practical perspectives. Show by hand if we've achieved all of that. Show by hand if we've achieved about 50% of that. Shall I read it again? Okay, so our first objective. We intended from yesterday to showcase Africa's digital trade experiences, the lessons, and share success stories from people, politics, and practical perspectives. Have we been able to achieve that? Okay, 100%? 50%? And those who feel we've not achieved that at all? Okay, so I think by and large we've achieved that. Number 2, have we been able to strengthen partnerships among government officials, industry leaders, scholars, and key stakeholders in the trade and digital sectors? Okay, those who believe we've done that halfway, and we've not done that at all? Okay. To provide a collaborative platform to amplify a unified voice for Africa's digital future and explore innovative concepts. Show by hand if we've achieved that. Okay, then by and large, it's been a success. Please, a round of applause for us all. Reminds me of my days in insurance, where we went out to, convince clients. I had one unfortunate incident where I had to sit with 2 other competitors of mine. And our clients were so wicked as to put all of us on a panel. She asked about our products, our claims payments, everything. And then she asked, how do you pay claims? The first guy, without thinking, he says, our company pays claims in 3 days. Somebody died on Monday. By Wednesday, we're at his home with a check. Hey, and I knew they were lying. The second one says that, oh, we pay in 24 hours. I mean, just give us all the necessary documents. So it got to me. Completely outsmarted and I was beaten. So I said, no, I need to pull something from a rabbit. So I said, madam, you know, I can't say how we pay clean. I mean, sales. But I do recall this time, some of our contractors were up our building working, and they were our clients also. I remember one time I had one of them slip, and before he fell to the ground, we had written the check and passed it through the window. I then looked at her and said, you see, all I'm trying to tell you is that in our company, we don't lie. We just say it as it is. We go the extra mile for you, so trust us. Well, unfortunately, I lost the account, but at least I held my chest high that I told the truth. For the next few minutes, ladies and gentlemen, let's reflect on all that we've heard. Let's exchange some cards. Let's, get to know who is here. And I bet you in the next 5 minutes, we shall reconvene to begin the closing ceremony. Thank you.
Setšhaba sa Afrika se a gobala thusa dimo ba setšhaba sa Afrika ha se fole setšhaba sa Afrika ha se fole ndona o bata musoro o bata musana bagati be mandara tapera Tapera wa Rega kubata musoro kubata musana wine mandara tapera Tapera
Welcome to the Africa Trade Development Forum 2024, where for 2 inspirational days, ours will be a labor of love, unlocking Africa's trade potential through digital innovation.
This forum is also a unique opportunity to deliberate on how digital innovation can reshape Africa's trade landscape. Trademark Africa has played a pivotal role in supporting Rwanda's export with initiatives such as the Export Development Program, which has helped businesses in sectors like horticulture and ICT grow their market access.
At Trademark Africa, we know that success only comes from collaboration. The digital trade is not just about technology, it's about people. The systems we create are tools to empower traders, facilitate connections, and open markets. But the human element, our partners, our stakeholders, our traders, remains at the heart of this work. It is their feedback, their needs, and their ambitions that guide us as we navigate this dynamic landscape.
I challenge all of us today to seize this moment and embrace digital innovation with courage and determination. We believe that it is possible to technologically enable cargo to move from Mombasa to Kisangani or Abidjan to Lagos non-stop, because these corridors will in the future be smart and digitally enabled. It is possible, and I believe everyone in this room can work together to make this a reality.
Your presence here today shows the critical importance of our shared mission to transform Africa's trade landscape into a catalyst for a sustainable development. In Rwanda, as we work toward achieving our vision of becoming an upper middle income country by 2035 and a higher income by 2050, digital innovation was given a particular attention.
Welcome to the Africa Trade Development Forum 2024, where for 2 inspirational days, ours will be a labor of love, unlocking Africa's trade potential through digital innovation.
This forum is also a unique opportunity to deliberate on how digital innovation can reshape Africa's trade landscape. Trademark Africa has played a pivotal role in supporting Rwanda's export with initiatives such as the Export Development Program, which has helped businesses in sectors like horticulture and ICT grow their market access.
At Trademark Africa, we know that success only comes from collaboration. The digital trade is not just about technology, it's about people. The systems we create are tools to empower traders, facilitate connections, and open markets. But the human element, our partners, our stakeholders, our traders, remains at the heart of this work. It is their feedback, their needs, and their ambitions that guide us as we navigate this dynamic landscape.
I challenge all of us today to seize this moment and embrace digital innovation with courage and determination. We believe that it is possible to technologically enable cargo to move from Mombasa to Kisangani or Abidjan to Lagos non-stop, because these corridors will in the future be smart and digitally enabled. It is possible, and I believe everyone in this room can work together to make this a reality.
Your presence here today shows the critical importance of our shared mission to transform Africa's trade landscape into a catalyst for a sustainable development. In Rwanda, as we work toward achieving our vision of becoming an upper middle income country by 2035 and a higher income by 2050, digital innovation was given a particular attention.
Welcome to the Africa Trade Development Forum 2024, where for 2 inspirational days, ours will be a labor of love, unlocking Africa's trade potential through digital innovation.
This forum is also a unique opportunity to deliberate on how digital innovation can reshape Africa's trade landscape. Trademark Africa has played a pivotal role in supporting Rwanda's export with initiatives such as the Export Development Program, which has helped businesses in sectors like horticulture and ICT grow their market access.
At Trademark Africa, we know that success only comes from collaboration. The digital trade is not just about technology, it's about people. The systems we create are tools to empower traders, facilitate connections, and open markets. But the human element, our partners, our stakeholders, our traders, remains at the heart of this work. It is their feedback, their needs, and their ambitions that guide us as we navigate this dynamic landscape.
I challenge all of us today to seize this moment and embrace digital innovation with courage and determination. We believe that it is possible to technologically enable cargo to move from Mombasa to Kisangani or Abidjan to Lagos non-stop, because these corridors will in the future be smart and digitally enabled. It is possible, and I believe everyone in this room can work together to make this a reality.
Your presence here today shows the critical importance of our shared mission to transform Africa's trade landscape into a catalyst for a sustainable development. In Rwanda, as we work toward achieving our vision of becoming an upper middle income country by 2035 and a higher income by 2050, digital innovation was given a particular attention.
Welcome to the Africa Trade Development Forum 2024, where for 2 inspirational days, ours will be a labor of love, unlocking Africa's trade potential through digital innovation.
This forum is also a unique opportunity to deliberate on how digital innovation can reshape Africa's trade landscape. Trademark Africa has played a pivotal role in supporting Rwanda's export with initiatives such as the Export Development Program, which has helped businesses in sectors like horticulture and ICT grow their market access.
At Trademark Africa, we know that success only comes from collaboration. The digital trade is not just about technology, it's about people. The systems we create are tools to empower traders, facilitate connections, and open markets. But the human element, our partners, our stakeholders, our traders, remains at the heart of this work. It is their feedback, their needs, and their ambitions that guide us as we navigate this dynamic landscape.
I challenge all of us today to seize this moment and embrace digital innovation with courage and determination. We believe that it is possible to technologically enable cargo to move from Mombasa to Kisangani or Abidjan to Lagos non-stop, because these corridors will in the future be smart and digitally enabled. It is possible, and I believe everyone in this room can work together to make
have come through. We've heard of the critical need not to over-regulate these new ideas out of fear, but to design regulation that allows them to let those we serve flourish. And we've spoken about persuading decision makers that regional integration is in their long-term interests, even if it may go against the short-term interests of some. And if I may paraphrase our board chair, economic integration has never hurt countries in the long run. Thirdly, technology is great, but it is not the panacea. We have talked about a whole range of systems and technologies that really work, from the regional electronic cargo tracking to integrated customs management systems to single windows. These have all had a remarkable impact. But to go to the next level, we must also do the hard yards of harmonizing national and regional and continental frameworks, tackling fragmentation head on, and as the Deputy SG to the EAC said, to have a laser focus on implementation, implementation, implementation. And then we know that Africa has a young, self-taught, and highly talented tech-savvy workforce. But without investment in accessibility on the one hand and digital literacy on the other, then digitization can risk increasing rather than reducing the digital divide. So let us demystify technology and encourage widespread adoption so that we can see the benefits spread. And lastly, we are all in this together. The private sector is the engine of growth. We all agree on that. Therefore, we must all listen to them, even when they say uncomfortable things or tell us that what we are trying is not working. It's the course correction that ensues from that that will ensure that we really succeed. And speaking to ourselves as support agencies, from implementing organizations such as Trademark to funding partners, our job is to help those on the ground, whether they are rethinking customs processes or trying to double their sales of avocados to Europe. The WTO estimates that digital trade could boost annual trade by 2.5%. The key word is could. Our job is to help turn could to will. And then there is no getting around it. This requires finance. We are grateful to committed funders who have seen that there is a new form of partnership with Africa and have put their money where their mouth is. And many are here today. We issue a heartfelt thank you to you. But much more is needed. And I hope that those who attended the Mini Investment Summit this morning saw the possibilities to develop ethical commercial solutions which keep their focus on those outcomes of reducing the cost and time of trade while leveraging the patient capital required. So, with all that, Jerry asked us at the beginning whether we are optimistic about digital trade in Africa. Not only has it been the fastest growing sector of any on the continent, but I, for one, am confident about its future. Thank you very much.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. We thank you very much, Mr. David Beer, our optimist-in-chief. And so it now falls to, as a matter of fact, it falls to you, Mr. David Beer, to conclude the rest of the, but well, if you find it difficult to me, no problem. My pleasure now it is to invite our chairperson for this closing ceremony, who happens to be the board chair. Make welcome yours and mine, His Excellency Hailemariam Desalegn Bosch. Your Excellency.
I think I was told to steer ministers and also some commissioners, ambassadors here. So I think they have to join me in the podium. I think that's the arrangement, isn't it, David? So all the ministers, please, I don't want to waste my time calling your names. Please come. All right. I think we have heard much over the last 2 days about the potential of digital trade. And Africa has a rich history of trade, but we all know it is time to move beyond simply exporting raw materials. And so digital innovation offers a chance to redefine Africa's role in the global economy, allowing us to add value, create finished goods, and participate more actively in global trade. I am delighted now to have those responsible ministers, Under Secretary General amongst us, for driving trade policy and choices with me here on the podium. And in order to frame the discussion, let me bring 3 areas which has been discussed in this forum. Firstly, on e-commerce, the engine of global trade, which all know. E-commerce has fundamentally changed how business is conducted worldwide, and Africa has been impressive growth in this sector, with its exports of digitally delivered services reaching $36.7 billion in 2023, as I mentioned in my opening speech, a more than 4-fold increase from 9.2 billion in 2005. This demonstrates the potential for Africa to become a major player in the global digital economy. And secondly, efficiency and cost reduction, which we are very good at TMA, and digital tools can significantly improve trade efficiency and reduce costs by simplifying customs procedures, automating documentations, and facilitating faster payments. Between 2010 and 2021, comprehensive trade costs across Africa decreased by 7.3, with non-tariff costs declining by 2.1%, and the regional electronic cargo tracking system is a prime example, connecting Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya revenue authorities, which is the best example we have, to jointly monitor cargo, reducing transit time by over half on the northern corridor. And thirdly, connecting Africa to the world, digital corridors are transforming trade within Africa and beyond by harmonizing regulations, streamlining customs procedures, and promoting the use of digital tools. These corridors are making it easier for businesses to trade across borders. Now we are trying to do this in West African corridor, and this morning we have been discussing with the minister from Namibia on the Southern African corridor as well. And so I think this strengthens Africa's position in global value chains, and the adoption of technologies such as electronic single windows, an integrated customs management system, and the regional economic cargo tracking has contributed to a 15% rise in average transaction value in the 4 countries in EAC. Now with this, we are delighted to have 7 ministers and Undersecretary General with us here today from Namibia and from Somaliland and from Djibouti, from Tanzania, and from Uganda and South Sudan. I think let me begin ministers for their statement and discussion. Each minister has 3 minutes, which actually I would like to ask you to be brief but concise and to the point. With these 3 minutes, let me begin with Minister of Namibia.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. And I would want to first and foremost appreciate the invitation extended to us to be part of this very successful event. And we are saying it's an honor for us and for me to address this distinguished assembly at the closing of the Ministerial Roundtable and the closing of the event in general. This event, which we view that it was successful and it was meaningful to the theme of unlocking Africa's trade potential through digital innovation. And we have engaged, we have discussed, we have shared transformative ideas that will shape the future of digital trade and development in Africa in general. I have also viewed that the forum has reminded us of the immense opportunities that digital innovation presents for Africa. Africa has a youthful population, hence it's imperative for us to invest in the growing digital infrastructures, also a wealth of entrepreneurship latent, and that our continent can be positioned to lead in the global digital economy. Yet, we must also realize the potential that we have, and this can only be done when our concerted efforts are pulled together in the same direction to ensure that we have strategic collaboration and sustained investment. Over the 2 days of engagements, we have explored solutions in critical challenges, such as improving our digital literacy, expanding access to technology, and fostering environments that enables innovation. These discussions, in my view, are timely as they align with Africa's vision of economic integration and self-reliance, which is enshrined in our Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. It's therefore a call and tall order for us to operationalize all these aspects of what we have deliberated under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. And as we move, as a country, Namibia remains committed to contributing to the digital transformation. We have also embraced the initiatives to enhance our ITC infrastructure, to promote e-commerce, and to encourage innovation, and particularly amongst the women and the youth. And we are keen on leveraging digital platforms to simplify cross-border trade and to enhance participation on SMEs. Today, we are pleased to announce that Namibia's commitment to partnership with the regional bodies and the various individual countries as a digital innovation hub to focus on the building of capacity in digital entrepreneurship and research in Southern Africa. This hub will serve as a collaborative space where innovators and co-operators can scale up solutions that are tailor-made to find opportunities under the challenges that we have. And as we conclude, I urge all of us to translate the ideas and commitments that were made here today into actionable programs and policies so that we can unlock Africa's potential. Let's prioritize investment in digital infrastructure. Let's strengthen our partnership between our various governments, not only those that are represented here, but even those that are not here. Also to foster an inclusive policies that leave no one behind while ensuring our rural communities and the underserved benefit from digital innovation because they are the ones that are lagging behind. It's Africa's time now, and let's embrace digital innovation. We can embrace each other also at the same time. Together, we can build a better future for Africa, and we can make sure that we all participate at the same wavelength. I thank you all for your commitment and active participation in this forum, and let us leave no one behind. And when we leave from here, we should all be inspired and determined to build the Africa we want as per Agenda 2063. I thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Minister Lucia. I will directly go to Said Shire, Somaliland Minister.
Mr. Chair, dignitaries, distinguished guests, good afternoon. We heard a lot about how low is the trade within African countries and how big are the opportunities. Just to share with you the example of Somaliland. In Somaliland, we import 1 billion to 1.5 billion US dollars worth of goods every year. And where are they coming from? They're coming from Turkey and India and China and United Arab Emirates. On the top 5, there's only Ethiopia. They're also coming from Saudi Arabia, Brazil, and USA. Not much is coming from Africa. And the question is, why? And I think the answer is, we have bottlenecks in the process of trade. I've identified 7 stages of trade. The first stage is the production stage. There must be goods to trade. If there aren't enough goods, then trade cannot take place. And in Africa, our production system is very much subsistence production. So there isn't much surplus to bring it to the market. That's why we buy food from Brazil and we buy food from India. I mean, we could have done so closer to home if the surplus was there. The second point is the market. To trade, you need a physical market or a virtual market where the buyer and the seller meet. And that, at the present time, doesn't exist or is very limited. You also need information about the market, about the products in the market, the quantity, the quality, the price, the terms, and that information about markets in Africa is not shared. You also need to transact. That is, goods and money must change hands. That requires payment systems. And we don't have continent-wide payment systems at the present time, and we use the US dollar and other hard international currencies to transact. We don't use local currencies at the present time. That's another problem. Logistics is a problem, and infrastructure. Goods must be transported from A to B. You need roads, you need vessels, ports, airports, and these are all in deficit. But the customs also, because everything that's internationally traded must cross a border at one point. And it's the problem is at the border, which discourages the flow of trade and does not facilitate. And finally, the consumer needs to be, the goods they order to be delivered on time and safe, and to be able to complain, and their complaints to be dealt with immediately if they have a complaint, if they have complaints. And we need to address all these bottlenecks. If we leave one or two and deal with the rest, then we will not achieve what we are trying to do, which is trade between African countries. But what's the way forward then? I think first we need to have commitment. We should be committed to increase the flow of trade within Africa. Second, we should have a plan as to how we are going to do about it. And then we must have someone responsible for realizing that plan. I mean, I would suggest that we carry out some sort of a study to find out where we are at this stage with regard to trade and digital technology. An annual trade exhibition perhaps would help find the markets and the people who can trade. But also I think we need to engage the universities. I mean, we're talking about digital technology here, but I'm not aware of any representation from our universities. So I think we need also to engage them. So if we can engage the business sector, the public sector, and the academia, I think we will be able to solve many of the problems at the present time we face. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister Said from Somaliland. Now let me move to Djibouti. Minister Mohamed Warsame.
Merci de m'avoir donné la parole. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres. Moi, je tiens d'abord à remercier les autorités rwandaises pour leur accueil chaleureux, mais également à remercier les organisateurs de ce forum, Trademark. Nous nous trouvons à un moment charnière de l'histoire de notre continent, la mise en œuvre de la zone de libre-échange continentale africaine, qui est une opportunité sans précédent pour transformer nos économies, stimuler la croissance et améliorer le bien-être de nos populations. Cependant, pour tirer pleinement parti de cette initiative, nous devons utiliser comme la digitalisation et surtout promouvoir le commerce électronique. La digitalisation n'est pas seulement un outil technologique, mais un catalyseur qui peut révolutionner la manière dont nous conduisons nos affaires et rendant les transactions plus rapides, plus efficaces et plus transparentes. Donc, je voudrais un peu parler de Djibouti aussi. À Djibouti, nous avons déjà commencé ce voyage vers la transformation numérique. Nous avons déjà investi dans les infrastructures technologiques. Nous avons également amélioré la connectivité Internet et mis également en place des cadres réglementaires pour soutenir l'économie numérique. Et nous croyons fermement que le commerce électronique peut ouvrir de nouveaux marchés pour nos PME, et créer des emplois et des richesses également et stimuler l'innovation. Je voudrais dire aussi que 9 câbles sous-marins qui atterrissent dans notre pays nous permettent non seulement d'améliorer la connectivité avec le pays africain, mais aussi nous permettent d'atteindre nos objectifs concernant la digitalisation de la République de Djibouti. Je voudrais rappeler aussi ici que Trademark, ici présent, est un partenaire vraiment clé du gouvernement de Djibouti dans la mise en œuvre de notre stratégie de développement du commerce et notamment la promotion de l'intégration africaine à travers la CELECAF. En effet, Trademark est notre partenaire pour stimuler les échanges sur le corridor le plus intégré et performant dans le Corne de l'Afrique, qui est le corridor Djibouti-Éthiopie, qui est généralement cité comme un modèle de corridor. Les programmes soutenus par le Trademark qui concerne le développement du corridor et intégration régionale prévoit les éléments suivants qui vont permettre à stimuler et développer le commerce intra-africain. C'est-à-dire qu'on doit éliminer des barrières non tarifaires au commerce frontalier, améliorer des systèmes électroniques de gestion de la flotte pour la communauté portière et zones franches, et prévoir surtout une interopérationnalité avec Sodonia. La mise en œuvre d'un système cargo tracking sur le corridor, la mise en place d'une autorité de gestion du corridor, la réalisation d'un corridor vert à travers l'initiative Green Port pour un commerce durable et respectueux de l'environnement. Si on arrive à concrétiser tous ces programmes et la mise en œuvre de ces programmes, je pense qu'il y aura une intégration parfaite entre surtout notre pays voisin, mais également avec les autres pays, l'Éthiopie et les autres pays. Vous l'aurez compris, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, il s'agit de préparer au mieux notre région à l'avènement d'un marché intégré, notamment à travers les solutions digitales, et libérer le potentiel commercial de l'Afrique. Je souhaite également souligner l'importance de former nos populations aux compétences numériques, sur les compétences numériques. Notre jeunesse est notre plus grand atout en leur fournissant les outils et les connaissances nécessaires. Nous pouvons assurer un avenir prospère pour tous. En conclusion, je voudrais réaffirmer ici l'engagement de la République de Djibouti à soutenir pleinement la mise en œuvre de la CELECAF et à promouvoir la digitalisation et le commerce intra-africain. Nous sommes dans un moment vraiment important et nous réfléchissons sur la mise sur la libéralisation du commerce électronique qui est ces derniers temps en Afrique notamment très bien développé, et puis la jeunesse en profite et il s'intéresse énormément. Et je suis vraiment convaincu. Ensemble, nous pouvons construire un continent africain plus intégré, plus fort, plus résilient face aux défis mondiaux. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Minister Mohammed from Djibouti. Now let me proceed to Minister of State for Cooperatives at the Ministry of Trade and Industry and Cooperatives from Uganda, State Minister Frederick.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair. My honorable colleagues, honorable ministers, and all of you in attendance, protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the delegation from the Republic of Uganda, I would like first to register our appreciation to the government of the Republic of Rwanda for the warm welcome that you have accorded us and the wonderful facilities you have placed at our disposal since we arrived in this beautiful country in the city of 1,000 hills, Kigali. I would also like to commend Trademark Africa and other development partners for organizing this event to give us an opportunity to discuss interventions of unlocking Africa's trade potential through digital innovation. The most important word is unlocking. Ladies and gentlemen, our theme for this forum is quite revealing. It presupposes that Africa's trade potential is locked. The question to which we need answers: where, how, and why is this potential locked? And what needs to be done to unlock it? It is my sincere hope that in these 2 days in this forum, we have been able to say what we have heard and also have had candid discussion and have had the answers to these questions which eluded our continent for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa Trade Report of 2024 by Afreximbank indicates that Africa's merchandise on imports contracted. It reduced from $766 million in 2023, representing 3.7% contraction, and merchant exports also contracted to 10.4 in 2023, representing a 9% reduction. We must unlock our potential of Africa's contribution to the world trade to less than 2%, despite we have expansive endowment of natural resources. Africa is home to 30% of the world's mineral reserves. It is 8% of the world's natural gas and 12% of the world's oil reserves. We have 40% of the world's gold and up to 90% of the chromium and platinum. Above all, we have 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land, but we are still food insecure, and at times we import food. Therefore, the use of digital delivered service has revolutionized not only the way business operates, but many other aspects of the economy, such as education, health, and government, especially in e-government. It is important, therefore, to note that digital innovation is a step in the right direction in unlocking Africa's trade potential. It is not sufficient without us addressing ourselves to other areas that hamper the growth of African trade potential. In addition to digital innovation, other areas must be addressed. We have taken note, and I need to point out the following areas that we need to look at seriously. Infrastructure. These include roads, bridges, railways, airports, seaports, harbors, canals, subways, etc. Communication technologies and networks. The region is reported to be one with the highest cost of transport compared to other regions due to poor trade-related infrastructure. Therefore, the transport costs, you are aware, also determine the costs and competitiveness of our business. So enhancing trade is very important and is a vital area. Now, as Africa, I've also noted that we need to prepare to operate at about 50% on average. This is to many factors. Among many challenges related to policy challenges, we have a challenge of shortage of capital, working capital. We have also imposed policy distortions. We have delays in getting inputs and inefficient technologies. The productive capacity must also go in value addition. And that's where we also must look at as we promote digital trade. What are you adding value on? Are you going to export cotton and import cloth? In you exporting cotton, aren't you donating industries to the person you are exporting cotton to? Isn't he establishing a weaving factory, a spinning factory? Isn't he creating jobs? And therefore, as Africa, aren't we looking at ourselves as donors to the people we export raw materials to? Is it important for us to export green coffee and import Nescafe as coffee? Is that valid? So we need to look at value addition in order to be competitive and to unlock the trade potential in Africa. Do we need to compete amongst ourselves? Do we need to trade in competition? For example, Tanzania produces rice cheaper than Uganda. Do we also need to concentrate in production of rice when Tanzania has a comparative advantage in producing rice? Why don't we compare Africa as a continent and you see where each country can benefit best? We are proud. The digitalization is also taking wide strides. We are benefiting. The younger population is alert. We have mobile money facilities. In East Africa, for example, we have one digital clearing centers. We have established many institutions. We can easily trade goods that were moving from Mombasa to Uganda and taking 13 days can now take place in only 3 days. This is out of the digitalization. Now, conclusively, how do we address non-tariff barriers, rules of origin, and regulatory policies? These include complex and lengthy procedures regulating private business activity, complex customs arrangements, restrictive rules of origin, and limited regional harmonization of policies, regulations, and procedures. Poor transit systems and numerous informal roadblocks along trade corridors create additional obstacles and delays and hence increase the costs of our products. All these contribute to the cost of trading across borders, which is recorded as high in the region compared to other regions. I'd like to thank Trademark Africa. You've done a good job. We have had much. We know what to do. But as policymakers, we have a challenge. We must ensure that even the medium, small enterprises cope up with the digitalization. Are they informed? Do they have the knowledge? can we expand and go down to enable them be able to market their products out of the country? Can we produce based on the markets available internationally? And how do we effectively capture that opportunity and be able to revolutionize the trade in Africa? We have learned a lot, and I want to thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for hosting us, Rwanda, and thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Minister Frederick from Uganda. Now let me go to another East African country, that's Tanzania, and Minister Exode. Honorable Minister, you have.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. On behalf of the government of the United Republic of Tanzania, I extend my heartfelt thanks to the government, Republic of Rwanda, for hosting us here, and also thanks for the organizers, that's TMA, who organized this forum, but also congratulations to all speakers and presenters before who has presented in this very important meeting. Let me start by saying that the United Republic of Tanzania, we are committed to building a strong digital infrastructure so that we support this trade agenda of digital innovation in the region. We have been promoting the frictionless borders agenda in East Africa and in Africa by using technology to collapse barriers. But also we have been promoting regional dialogue and ensure that the private sector is at the driving seat so that we can enjoy their innovation in the digital trade innovation. But also we have embraced the implementation of regional agreements. And now we think it is a time to move forward from signing papers of agreement into really intentional and transformative actions. But also we have embraced the reforms agenda that anchored at the using of opportunities emanating from emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, which we think by this really looking at striking a balance between promoting innovation and regulating the technology sectors. So this is a real need to interrogate our regulatory frameworks to see if they can fit the new cause. So developing a flexible and adaptive regulatory setups is something that can not be avoided in the modern era where trade is powered by technology. But also we think, and we have been doing this deliberately by creating a conducive environment in terms of policy and institutional setups so that to attract blended financing as a process to managing movement from traditional financing. And we think from this forum we have seen such a need and emphasis. But also we have been streamlining processes and promoting digital platforms that work for the business, taking on board government interest as well. In Tanzania, we are currently finalizing and using the national single window that is aligning to today's call. So by this, we are intentional aiming at supporting the SMEs and especially the one which are in the technology sector, where also most of our youth entrepreneurs have a major focus on improving their businesses. But also let me just mention some of the examples which we as a country has been doing in amplifying the voice of private sector in the reform agenda. We have been promoting sectoral public-private dialogue, which is enhancing the opportunities for the private sector to participate through National Business Council conversation. But also, we have been promoting implementation of the agreed regional protocols, such like those under AFCFTA agenda, by ratifying the digital trade protocol. In this way, we hope it will help addressing the cross-border trade barriers, as I mentioned earlier. So Tanzania has taken a lesson from this, from participating in this in the AFCFTA guided trade initiatives. But also, now we are developing the national e-commerce strategy, which is in a final stage. We hope this will position our country for growth in digital trade and aligning with the regional strategies. Thanks for the TMA support in reducing some of issues which we have been accounting in the process. They have been supporting us, so thank you very much. But also, we have already started rolling out of some of authorized economic operators program, which registered 33 companies, specifically reducing the clearance time and cost at the Dar es Salaam port. This is effort to eliminate non-tariff barriers, which have been a problem to us and other countries in Africa. So this has enhanced Tanzania's performance in this era. So let me conclude by saying some of the achievement which we have already been seeing is the use of Tanzania Mercantile, TMX, where we are selling crops, around now 8 crops which have been sold through TMX. And this has realized doubled prices, which is now helped the farmers to get more prices and to improve their lives. But also we are moving for the minerals, where we will also be auctioning online. But also, as I mentioned, we have National Single Window, which is supporting trade and investment. And hopefully, this has been, will be integrating around 15 institutions and regulatory authorities, aiming at reducing time for registrations and trade issues. But also, we have about 13 crop boards which are digitalized. So we issue licenses and permits online. So this improves the doing business in our country. But also we issue digital certificates of origins, so reducing the time of doing business. Also, we have been, we are now ratifying, we are in a final preparation of the national e-commerce strategy. So I thought this is some of kind to mention in this very important forum, and we have learned from this forum that though we are doing very well, we are trying, but you should expedite and speed up the improvement and use of digital trade in our country and in our region. This will support the SMEs, which we think, and in our country, In Tanzania, about more than 8% of the business are SMEs. So this will help them to grow up and to make sure that we benefit from digital trade innovation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister Exud. Now let me move to Undersecretary of the Ministry of EAC Affairs in South Sudan, Mr. Benny Gideon.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Prime Minister, and who is the moderator of this important discussion, Honorable Ministers, distinguished participants. I mean, it is by no means an excuse to speak last after our distinguished ministers spoke about the subject matter of digital innovation and how best we can be able to promote trade in Africa. For me, this is something that we have been on it for quite a long time, and I'm happy that this platform has been created in order for us to provide technical backstopping and evidence-based policy option to you, the policymakers, so that an action can be taken in the state of delaying one more. First is to underline that this is not an activity the government can undertake alone. This is a two-way traffic that the government, the development partners, and the private sector institutions need to join together and implement what are the parameters needed to ensure the digital innovation and promoting trade in Africa. To me, primarily, is that we need to develop infrastructure, digital infrastructure. And when I say digital infrastructure, this particularly includes the internet connectivity, the proper road network, and proper logistic system put in place that can be able to ease the transfer of trade, inter-trade in Africa. For example, at the EAC now, our inter-trade has increased from 13% last year to 15% this year. This is just what we have recorded in our last summit 3 days ago in Arusha. And if I could quote what President Museveni said during the summit, he said this area, East Africa, as a whole, was a connected trade area, not until it was disconnected by the liberalization and civilization that came into creating these borders here and there. So we are now moving from disconnected trade area to Africa continental free trade area, and this can only be achieved through infrastructure development. The other issue which is important in order to realize the digital innovation in promoting trade is that government need to legislate regulatory framework that support digitalization. And production of digital services cannot be secure not until such regulatory framework guarantee the intellectual protection right, intellectual property right, data privacy, because the innovators will not be at liberty to develop such technological services if they are not legally protected by legislation. So there's a greater need of our government to develop a legislative framework that safeguard the technological development. And then thirdly is the e-commerce. And because however much we may be helping our digital services to promoting SME trade, if they are not connected to regional and international financial market, it will still be a waste. So what is important is that having digital services in place or digital infrastructure alone is not enough, not until business stakeholders are connected to the financial market so that they can be able to effectively help do their business. And this can be done through digital payment system, because now we have seen the use of mobile money services. It has really helped facilitate number of payment systems. So when you properly liberalize the digital payment system, it can help facilitate the payment of goods and services. And my last comment is the REX, the Regional Electronic Cargo Tracking System. This is one particular example the East African community have now developed. And we are making sure that all the EAC partner states are integrated to this REX, which is the Regional Electronic Cargo System. And the objective is the implementation of our common market protocol and achieving single custom territory in the implementation of the Custom Union Protocol. This is This is the best way we can be able, and I think even other partner states can learn much from our REC system. It is now already connected between the 3 countries, Kenya, Uganda, and South Sudan is now integrating itself. By yesterday on the 2nd, it was launched. All goods armed with the seal. So this is what I can say, and these are with those technical services. I submit, Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you so much, Mr. Benny Gedeon. I reserve the final intervention to our host, Minister of Trade and Industry of Rwanda, Minister Prudence. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Of course, I have to start by appreciating all of us here for making Rwanda proud by coming to this important event, which has been so insightful to everyone, and thank the partners who made it possible. On the topic of unlocking trade, Africa's trade through digital innovation, there is a lot to be said, but a lot has also been said by my colleagues. I just want to take a quick reflection of the challenges that we have as a continent before we even leapfrog the new technology. Africa, as we know, our trade potential has been there all along, but we have not been able to trade. And the biggest challenge has been said to be lack of infrastructure, both hard infrastructure and soft infrastructure. And I think digital technology will unlock the soft infrastructure. But for the hard infrastructure, we still have a long way to go. And I think we continue to work on this in the long run. The second biggest challenge has been, how do we cooperate? The issue of trust deficit among African countries has been there for so long, and I think collectively, in such fora, we should be able to address this. We are talking about good projects to unlock our trade potential, but do we have what to trade? That's the third challenge. What is Africa producing? Can we determine to invest in our productive capacities to make sure that we add value to the natural resources that we have, to make sure that we develop our skills, to make sure that Africa industrializes? That's very important. Then the fourth challenge that we have and we face is interconnectivity. How do we connect our small markets? This is through transport and logistics. But on top of those big challenges that we have to deal with, there are things that are within our reach. What does it require to allow the movement of our people across the continent? What does it require to remove non-tariff barriers? I think anything that just requires the government intervention, political will, political commitment can be done within a day. So if we collectively resolve to eliminate non-tariff barriers on the continent, we collectively resolve to allow movement of persons on the continent, we collectively resolve to facilitate trade, I think we can easily unlock our trade potential. Last but not least, I would like to come back to the theme of yesterday. We've been talking about trade facilitation measures that are facilitated by digital technology, such as one-stop border post, such as electronic single window, such as electronic cargo tracking systems. And now we are moving ahead to even remove those artificial borders that have been imposed on us. And our biggest challenges in the future is to see how can we have a non-stop border post or even have no borders at all. I think this should be the theme of the next conference. How can we have seamless trade across Africa with no borders, with no delays, with no non-tariff barriers, where we can have seamless movement of goods, seamless movement of services, seamless movement of people. This is something that we should resolve to achieve in the near future. And I would like to conclude by once again appreciating all of us who have been here contributing to this important forum. Chairman, thank you very much. Trademark Africa, thank you very much. Our partners, all participants, all experts who contributed. We do not take this for granted, and we want to see you more and more again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, our host Minister Prudence. As you can see, the composition of the ministers, you can notice something, which is they are from East and Horn of Africa, the Greater East Africa. It's simply because we worked with our partners initially as a TMA in this region. So I think we have shown interest to the region, and Eastern Africa is much more digitized and connected than other regions in the continent. This is because, of course, before that, let's give a special thanks to the minister from Namibia, which is out of this region. Very soon, I think we will be also, we'll get much more interest from West Africa as well as the Southern Africa. Saying this is because our partners has contributed for this success. And now I would like to go for respondents from our partners. I have 3 respondents. One is Ambassador Ole Tonke, Under-Secretary of Danish Ministry in the Danish Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ambassador, let me give you a floor to respond to what has been said.
Thank you so much. First of all, what comes to my mind is I've been so inspired being here the last 2 days, listening to African leaders talking about making a free trade area on the continent, making a common market with no stop borders, talking about how to make sure that the value addition is produced in Africa so that you also increase your competitiveness and trade with each other, and then how you use the digital solutions to actually, for me, pave the way towards more free trade in Africa. So you have it all, and you do that at the same time as a large part of the rest of the world is talking about increasing tariffs and not trading with each other, and etc. So I think, honestly, you ministers here in Africa, you have the long end of the stick on this one. Yeah. So please keep moving that forward. The other thing I wanted to say is that a huge thank you also from my side to Trademark. I mean, Trademark for me is a vehicle to move this forward, and it's like a bus. It's a strong one. It has a lot of gears, and it's very agile. But what is most important is that it's your bus. So you decide where you want it to go, and how you wanted to take it there, because it used to be only East Africa, now it's the continent. I think there's so many opportunities to actually move these agendas forward, but using Trademark as the bus to take you there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ambassador Ole. Second, the European Union's partnership is growing and at a larger scale with TMA and the continent. And let me give the floor to Ambassador Belen to respond representing EU.
Thank you very much. It has been a real privilege to share these couple of days with you and to see the leadership of the continent driving the agenda for economic integration and for more trade as a vehicle for growth in the continent. And this is something that we as European Union very much share, is at the heart of our DNA, is part of who we are, and we certainly believe in it. So I would like to remind something that the Minister of Commerce of Rwanda just said, but it was also the conclusions of our panel this morning, is how digitalization is scaling up, is broadening the scope, is accelerating regional integration and trade, and is also helping in building those smart corridors and moving from joint border posts to no border posts, as the Minister said. I think we are in a country to think big, and I think indeed that's the aspiration going forward. That's one. My second point is that with the European Union, there are two unions, but with the African Union, but one vision. And that one vision is precisely economic integration for growth. We are here together through our Global Gateway to establish those connections and to support value addition in the continent and for the continent. So we are together, and as we say in Rwanda, turi kumwe. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador Belen. And our third respondent is Joy Kategeuka, Director Coordination and Integration, African Development Bank.
Well, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the opportunity to engage. On behalf of President Adesina, it has been a delight to participate in this conversation. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for the wonderful hospitality. Thank you for championing a conversation that has put Africa on the cutting edge of what is needed to unlock its trade potential. Thank you very much to Trademark as well for the invitation. 4 quick points. One is infrastructure is key. And by this, we don't just mean digital infrastructure, we mean hard infrastructure. You cannot click on digital platforms and hope and pray. You immediately face logistics, transport, etc. So let's think about infrastructure in its fullness. The second piece is to recall that digital is an enabler. So we must really find a way to land digital in the opportunities emerging in the AFCFTA, the regional value chain. So landing crucial. The third piece is skills. We talked a lot about the need for Africa to have the skills of the now and the skills of the future. The AFDB is investing huge in the Jobs for Youth in Africa initiative, and we will be expanding that. The final piece is no one can do this alone. And this is why Trademark, your initiative to bring us all together, is crucial. We're excited to have deeper conversations with you on how we can take all of this forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you very much, our ministers and also respondents. As you can see, there are some missing links in our discussions. You know, the private sector has not been so vibrant in this discussion, and next time we will bring more private sector, which can make our trade regime to be sustainable. So I think there are few private sector members, maybe our board members, but nonetheless, they have tried to contribute in the plenary sessions. But nonetheless, I think, David, we have to take this into consideration and work on that. The second one is our youth. You know, we are talking about digitization, and our youth are at the center of it, and we need to bring more voices from our young people who are the future, because Africa is a young continent. And in this regard, I think if we want to make it sustainable, we need to bring more young people into our forum. That we discussed and agreed with David, and we will continue to do that. I think our ministers has given us few important points. The first one is, I was thinking, where is the position of Africa in the global economy and markets? And I think we have leverage that we have to use. In these discussions, we heard that 80% of the critical minerals are in Africa. So what does that mean in the global system where climate change is becoming a critical creeping crisis to the global world? So it means that we need to add values into our critical minerals and trade with the global community. We have that leverage and we have to use it. So trade and integration and the value addition is one of the main things we have to take away from these discussions. And Africa can play a major role in the global economic and social transformation. So we are not always recipients, but we have that potential. And our ministers also elaborated this, that we have a huge natural resource potential. Not only that, we have also trade potential. Everybody was talking about trade potential, and cognizant of this fact, we need to do better and trade ourselves. Our ministers also told us that we are locked and we have to unlock. And I think that's what we discussed. And so collective goals to leverage digital transformation to unlock Africa's trade potential is one of the emphasis in these discussions. Of course, they also emphasized on policy harmonization of national digital trade policies and regulations with the AFCFTA digital trade protocol, which we all applauded, to attain seamless cross-border e-commerce and digital trade, creating a cohesive and efficient digital trade environment for all participating countries in Africa. This needs infrastructure, we said both soft and hard, needs also investment. So I think our government has to invest in infrastructure, which is critical. Of course, we are trying very hard, as I said yesterday, through TCA, our share of addressing the market failures within the infrastructure investment section. But the European Union and United States and even the eastern blocs, the southern blocs of the globe are investing in African infrastructure. But if we can address the market failure, then private sector also can play a major role in this regard, and we have to do that seriously. And I think this is one of the things we discussed. None of the importance of investment and partnership to develop this infrastructure for trade. Of course, digital payment system is critical. We discussed about that. And also reliable internet so as to attain inclusivity for the larger base of our informal, micro, and small enterprises. Finally, this gathering is all about partnership. We have the private sector, we have the policymakers, we have our global development partners. Together, I think we can make change to happen. So that's why the forum is needed, and I think it's a very successful forum. And I would like at this juncture to thank, before handing over, our master of ceremony. Where is he?
I am here.
Yeah, please give a big applause for him, for steering this journey. Thank you, Jerry, for doing so. And I think with this, let me conclude, and he will lead us to the next stage, what we shall do at the end of this process. Jerry, back.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Your Excellency, the Chair, if it pleases you, I would like you and your panel to please remain on stage. You have one last task to perform for us. Before that task, however, a few reminders. Checkout is at 12 noon. Please adhere to this since the hotel is sold out. Full night accommodation has been reserved for those departing after midnight. Check in online to avoid rushing in case of delays. If you require assistance with online check-in, please contact Irene, whose telephone number is on the logistics note. Pickup from your respective hotels to the airport is scheduled for 3 hours before flight time. Flight timings with difference of up to 25 minutes have been grouped together. The comprehensive transfers schedule is at the reception of every hotel. All delegates are advised to pass by the reception to reconfirm their pickup times. Upon checkout, the transport coordinator will show up to you and your respective vehicles. Please adhere to the specified pickup time to avoid inconveniencing the rest. Those departing on early morning flights may order for packed breakfast at their respective hotels by 9 p.m. for collection at the reception during checkout. And so it falls to you, Board Chair, Your Excellency, together with all the ministers, to please come up for a group photograph, and thereafter, Your Excellency the Chair, you perform the last task. A round of applause as they line up for the photo. Photographers. It's a cabinet meeting of a former president and ministers of trade. Honorable ministers, you may please retire to your seat. Your Excellency the Chair, humbly I ask that you remain with me as I invite to join you Honorable ministers, as MTN will say, you have 1 minute remaining. Your Excellency Board Chair, please join me on stage. As I invite to join you, our CEO, Mr. David Beer, all the ambassadors and representatives of our partners, please join the Board Chair on stage. A round of applause as they come, please. Your Excellency the Chair, it has fallen to you to present this gift to this entire gathering. It's the launch of a very impactful report, Your Excellency.
So, thank you, moderator. This is a trade facilitation report. Now, I declare that this report is open for discussions.
And so, for the benefit of the entire continent in our pursuit of driving Africa trade through digitalization, ladies and gentlemen, the Trade Facilitation Report is hereby duly launched. Hip, hip. Please lend your attention to the screen. Your Excellency and the team, please lend your attention to the screen as I walk you through the various aspects of this report. Chapter 1 takes notes of trends in trade and tech and trade facilitation in Africa, trends in global trade and implications for Africa. Chapter 2 talks about pathways for digital trade. Chapter 3 talks about supporting digital trade. Chapter 4 talks about trade, the next generation of trade. And Chapter 5 talks about risk, inclusion, and sustainability. And so now with the board in place, I ask that we all rise humbly, as many as can. Honorable ministers, would you please join us on stage? Again, please, for the last time. As many as can. And since we have a little more room for family planning, all our partners, please join us. Ladies and gentlemen, we designed a very innovative app to end this conference. If you turn on your phones, you will see that app. Please turn on your phones. It's a black box with a hole in the middle. Have you seen the app, please? Please, it's your camera. And so I ask humbly that we all turn around with our backs facing the official party on the stage. We're going to take one big selfie. If we're ready, please, everybody turn around with your phone in hand and with your cameras open, capturing everybody within the precincts of your phone. Are we ready? Are we ready? Your Excellency Board Chair, I ask that you please come forward with your team. It is on record that you have never taken a selfie before. As a board chair of TMA, it is illegal. Your Excellency, where is your phone? Where is His Excellency's phone, please? Who has His Excellency's phone? Please give it to him. So please, let's come around the board chair. He's going to lead us in the selfie. And so in the spirit of tech and digitalization, ladies and gentlemen, let's all turn around with our backs facing the stage. When I say ATDF 24, all you're going to say is growing prosperity through trade. Are we ready? Are we ready? So ATDF 24, growing prosperity through trade. For the second time, ATDF 24. And for the last time, ATDF 24, growing prosperity through trade. This is how we give meaning to our ambition of unlocking Africa's trade potential through digital innovation. From all of us here at the Marriott Kigali, we say thank you, good night, goodbye, Godspeed. We shall see you soon next year.
I wanna be rich.
There's a QR code outside as you're leaving.
Wala sani muweze jezi zikamoto, linunga mazega kukuka.